How are we doing, Cindy and Margaret? I see y'all in here.
Good morning.
How are y'all doing today?
Good. I just sent out a text message, so hopefully we'll get some more people in here.
Okay, sounds great. I'll wait a couple minutes before we get fully started. Hey, Margaret.
Yes.
Just so you're aware, I was speaking with Lindsay in MCA, and she had requested that I teach on templates and DocuSign instead of zip forms.
Yes,
So
you
that's
can
what
see that.
on Thursday. Yes, so everything, Zoom link and all that will stay the same for Thursday. It'll just be on DocuSign.
Perfect. I'll update it.
Perfect.
Thank you. Hey, Cindy, did you get my text about this?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you get my text about this Zoom?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and I'm also listening to something else. So can I also be off the audio though?
Yes, you can mute yourself, Cindy.
How do I mute myself?
Let's see. Are you on the Zoom app or are you calling in from your phone?
I'm on my phone.
Okay, there should be a mute option on there.
Oh, there
when you're looking
there
at.
it is.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
I just didn't want to make a bunch of noise.
For sure. How are we doing, Mike, Jan, Debbie? Waiting a couple more minutes before we get fully started here. Got more people popping in.
You might need to remind them to mute once you get going too, Clark.
For sure, I will. I'll be able to say my hellos before we get fully started.
Yes.
Hey, Mike, would you mind hitting that mute button for me? Is that your music?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Google. Stop.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate you.
Mhm.
All right, yeah, we still got people pouring in here, but how's everyone doing? I know under the circumstances, everything's a little crazy right now, but we all doing good today?
It's crazy. That's all we can say. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Fort Worth is going to a shelter in place as of tonight, I believe. And
Yeah.
I live over in Denton County, so we'll see when that rain is coming down.
Dallas County is already in shelter in place. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they seem to be leading the charge on all of that.
Absolutely.
My daughter-in-law is in South Carolina and she's a nurse. She has 6 kids at home and she's having to quarantine herself off from her family because of all the shortages of masks and all the things that they need there at the hospital. Just brought in 8 people who had the virus this morning.
Wow.
So yeah, prayers for her.
Most definitely.
And everybody, all the healthcare workers.
Oh, yes.
Totally unprecedented times. Just unbelievable. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're about 4 or 5 minutes in here, so I'll go ahead and get started. Just to kind of kick things off, my name is Clark Mundy. I've been an agent here in KW Southlake for 4 years, coming up on 4.5 years now. And I've helped start the KWYP chapter here in Dallas a few years back. And I'm a QL instructor for young adults. I'm on a team here with my father that we both run. And he's the team leader over in Coppell, Chip Mundy. So just to give you a little background about me, teaching is my passion. I love helping people out when I can. And so this is a great opportunity to do so for y'all, just given the circumstances. Haven't taught a Zoom class before, but there's a first time for everything, so might as well. But we're going to be going through opportunities today, prep to get paid. So whether you are or are not familiar with the basics of opportunities in Command or Command at all, whether you have or have not played around with it, we're just going to go through the basics today of opportunities. So we're going to create an opportunity, and then we're going to go in and fill out the paperwork. We're going to act like we are a buyer on this one, that we're working with a buyer, and it's going to be a big test. Just so that y'all can see, I'm going to be sharing my screen for about 95% of the time. But just wanted to give you all that heads up real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and start screen sharing. We got, it's like 11 of us right now. I'm not sure if anyone else can admit participants or if I need to, so we'll see as we're going. But I'm going to go ahead and pop on over here to Command. And can you all see my screen? Can I get some head nods? Just make sure we're all good. Y'all see my Command screen right here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to be going through opportunities today. So that's going to be over here on the left. We got the handshake icon, about 6 of them down. So you can admit a few more people here. All right. So like I said, we're going to be going through opportunities today. So I need to make myself smaller so I can actually see what I'm doing here. So we're going to be going in here to create an opportunity. And at any time, if y'all have a question, feel free to unmute and pipe up, and I'll be happy to answer as best I can here. So we're going to be going in here, and we're going to create our first opportunity. All right, so we're going to say that this is a buyer tentatively. And one thing, the first thing that you're going to always want to do when it comes to anything in opportunities and whenever you're creating them is you're going to want to make sure that the person that you're creating this opportunity that it's going to be assigned to is in fact already in your database. You're going to need to make sure that they're in your database. So that will link up, you know, if they have a spouse, any of that type of stuff, you'll be able to see that. So for this one, I've already taken the liberty a while back to make a contact in my database called Mr. Fake Client. So we've got Mr. Fake Client here. That's going to be the buyer on this property. If you knew the time frame, say they're ready to buy within a month, you know, your commission rate is going to be 3%. We're in the appointment phase, and we've already scheduled the appointment, so we're looking good there. So we're going to go ahead and create this opportunity for Mr. Fake Client buyer. And so here is inside of the opportunity itself right here. Okay, so you can edit if there's any general information you needed to edit like we were just doing. You could do so here, right here on the general info. For the property, say you already knew the property. So I'll just use one that I just did a deal on a couple of weeks ago. So say we were going to be buying this property at 832 Adams Drive in Burleson. You'd be able to go ahead, it's got the county in there, zip code, to go ahead and auto-populate everything there. You're wanting to get as much done as possible on the details up front because it's going to save you a lot of time in the long run when it comes to this as we go down the line. Description, if you needed to write something here like, this is John's brother, Mr. Fake Client. So in case you're working with a team or you just needed a little reminder in there and note, oh yeah, this is who this is and this is why we're working with them and what they're needing. You've got your buyer profile right here. Got nothing assigned there. And then here we've got our documents. So documents is where all of your compliance, MCA activities, you're going to find out which documents of yours have been accepted, if any of them have been kicked back. That would be here in the under contract section over here. You see that where my mouse is hovering. So here, I'm not sure how it looks on y'all's end. It may look a little different because I'm in the South Lake office and y'all are over at Central 75. So there may be some different verbiage here, but the meat and potatoes, the bones of this is all the same stuff here. So we got, you know, our executed contract, MLS printout. You'll see here under each of the documents, like I said, it says this for my MCA department. It may or may not for yours, but we have our required forms. It goes through and lists all the required forms, and those are up here first. And then conditionally required after that. So if option page 9 was used, then you need to upload the receipted option fee, of course, and so on as you go down. So conditionally required. So that lets you know up front, okay, these are what I have to get signed through, all the way, and then you can go from there. You can also do multiple files at a time instead of adding one at a time. I like efficiency personally, so I like to do as many as possible. So now we're going to go ahead. And do we have any questions right now as far as I've gotten so far, being in the opportunities, being familiar with where the documents are going to be and where you're going to submit to the MCA department. Any questions so far?
We're good.
All right, perfect. So we're going to go over here to start a transaction. So let's say we've already gone and seen 832 Adams Drive with Mr. Buyer, the fake client, and we are ready to go ahead and put in an offer and see where we can get from there. So we're going to go ahead and select myself as the buyer's agent on this one. The reason I have buyer agent 1 and 2 is probably because I'm on a team. So there's our team lead right there, and here's myself. He's not a part of this one, so it's just going to be me on this one. So we're going to assign that to myself. You're going to sign in here to your DocuSign. And for me, when I had a DocuSign account before Command came out. And so that's what this one is right here. And it made me recreate one. It wouldn't let me sync the two. So if you have two for some reason in your DocuSign account, I always select the one that says Keller Williams under it, just so y'all are aware.
Why wouldn't it let you to sync those two?
I'm not sure. And it could be that I really set up a third one that was a Gmail, sync to my Gmail account, and then one for my MyKW account. That could be it. I don't remember at this point. I've had to sign so many things over the past few years. So as we get into rooms here, so I like to make an analogy. We've got rooms and envelopes, and then we're going to send it off as well. So I like to think of this as a mailroom analogy. We are in the mailroom right now. We're getting the documents that we need prepared. We're going to write anything on them that we need to, and then we're going to put them in an envelope to send off for signatures. So when you get into DocuSign rooms here, the biggest thing that you're going to want to do right off the bat is go over here to details and fill out as much as you can. So to the left of the documents, details. And we're going to want to go in here and let's see. So we're working with a buyer, so we're not going to know the seller's information right now. But we can go ahead and start editing. So this will be at 832 Adams Drive in Burleson, Johnson County. And I don't remember the zip code off the top of my head, so we're going to say that's the zip code, even though it's not. And then anything else after that, if you did want to put that in, we're going to say that our offer date was today and that we're contracting out $2,000. That's going to be the price on this one. Say they did $2,000 for their earnest money, good 1%. And then from there, we don't have anything else. No high bid. We'll say the closing date will be a month from now, on April 24th. And that's all we've got for right here, unless you wanted to add anything else in there. You're also going to want to add in your client's information, so their cell number and their email, mrfakeclient@gmail.com. And if you had multiple clients and it was a husband-wife team or anything like that for the buyers, you just set buyer number 2 in right there. So we don't have one, so I just want to make sure in here we've got a couple of people I need to add real quick. All right. So we got their phone number in here. We've got all my contact information. These are all the things that are going to auto-populate for you to make your life easier when it comes time to actually write in all of the information. So I'm going to go ahead and say we're good there on the editing. So we've got the opportunity name for the room. We've got the property address right here. And then we went ahead and filled out buyer info for buyer 1, as well as my info as the buyer's agent. All right, so now we're going to go over here to documents. All right, there we got a few more people in there. How y'all doing? All right, so again, we said this is going to be a buyer for this tester right here, okay? So we're going to add from DocuSign forms. That's what we're doing for today for just simplicity. If you do use zip forms, you certainly can pull from there. And if you had any other documents you needed to pull up, maybe something that was more just for your local MetroText board or MLS board rather, anything like that you could pull from anywhere else. So I always pull from DocuSign forms. And in case y'all didn't hear at the beginning, I was going to teach on zip forms templates on Thursday. I'm actually going to teach now on DocuSign templates just to keep it all fluid and simple. your leadership had requested that. So today we're going to go through and just go through all of the documents in here and how to fill one out. And then I'll show y'all how to make it easier for you on Thursday, setting up your templates, because this whole process will get way simpler. So say we're going to be working with our buyer. So we've got the 1-to-4 family contract right here. And you can check box any of these as you're searching. You don't have to, because it'll kick you out every time if you hit add. So we've got the seller's disclosure notice, we'll say. General information. We'll do those 4. All right, y'all. So we got our 4 documents in here. So we'll go with the longest one that we're definitely going to have. Oh, not unimproved contract. Didn't mean that one. Go ahead and archive that. Meant to pull up the 1-to-4 family contract. I always select from the Texas Association of Realtors forms on DocuSign, by the way. MetroTex is my MLS board over here in Grapevine, over near South Lake. And so they have different forms in the MetroTex library than I have in the Texas one. So I always just go with Texas because that's the promulgated forms across the entire state. So just in case I'm working with an agent in a different county, I don't want to bring up a document that's going to have the wrong info on it or not work for them. So I'm adding that 1-to-4 family contract here.
You say you're using MetroTex at this time?
No, I do not use MetroTex forms. I use the TXR forms, the Texas Association of Realtors, because those are promulgated for the whole state as opposed to just one county or one small area. So
Okay.
I prefer to do that just to keep any issues from coming up.
Sounds
So
good.
I clicked on the document. I just clicked on any of these right here. You can click on any of them to go ahead and edit it. So this is where we're going to write in the information about the property. So obviously I didn't fill out, so this is where things auto-populated for us. Add these people real quick. All right, so here you can see where everything auto-populated from the details section that we did earlier. Over here you see kind of grayed out right there the details we did in the rooms. So we had our property address fill in here. Obviously you go over to tax to get your lot and block and the subdivision name as well. So we'll say this is Daffy Duck, Seller 1, and Minnie Mouse. Oh, got another addition. And Minnie Mouse is the other seller. So anything that you didn't auto-populate, you're going to have to write in yourself. So we only had the one buyer, Mr. Fake Client. You go through here and you put in, say we're doing a $200,000 house at 20% down. There's a $200,000 list price. Our earnest money auto-populated. If we had put in the title company, it would have popped in right here. Okay. Have y'all all played around with opportunities, or at least written any offers, or gotten in here before? Or I just want to gauge kind of our participation level so far up to now.
I haven't.
Okay.
The only thing I haven't done is actually, I haven't done a green sheet in the opportunities yet, so.
Okay. Okay. I heard from your MCA that y'all are actually converting over to the offers and commissions, which is going to be the last thing I go over today. Some offices are still using the green sheet. Some are using the new command format with the offer and commissions, and some are using a hybrid. Over here in South Lake, we're still on the green sheet, but I will teach y'all how to, I'll tell you how to do a green sheet if y'all still need to, just verbally, and then I'll also show you how to do the offer and commissions. So anything else that we had auto-populated, you see how not having a template, even just for basic information, it can get cumbersome going in here and writing every single thing every single time, especially if you're a busy agent setting up templates that we're going to talk about on Thursday in our class at 10 a.m. It's going to really save y'all a lot of time and keep things more simple for you. So just to give y'all an idea, so got the whole contract here. So we'll just stay with that first filled out page for what we needed for now. Go ahead and save that.
Hey, my McAfee is expired.
Here, general information. So and if y'all wouldn't mind muting, I'd appreciate that on your end. Whether you're calling in, you can hit the mute button on your dialer or on the Zoom app or Safari, however you're looking at us right now. So nothing auto-populated on here for us. Just wanted to double check that. Okay. And this is being recorded and will be posted on your Facebook page, just so y'all are aware. So that's the whole reason I'm screen recording this as well, so that y'all can all look at this later on.
Clark,
Yes, ma'am.
on the document you were just on, it was general information and notice to sellers. Since this is working with the buyer, should this have been?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yes, good call. I didn't even see that. I was just clicking around. It's a great call. Let's see. Okay, I guess maybe they changed the wording of the document. We used to just have a general information in general form. Good call. Thank you for checking on that for me. So we've gone ahead and we filled out some of the information here on the 1 to 4 family contract. If y'all aren't aware of it, I highly recommend looking into Seller's Shield. It's free to use, and basically it will take your clients, your sellers, through the entire seller's disclosure notice. On their end, it'll explain things in layman's terms, and it'll really break it down so it doesn't feel like this massive, cumbersome document of trying to pull out information from your head or from some paperwork when you close that you may or may not remember. So it takes all the burden off of you as an agent when you have these listings. So I'd highly recommend y'all looking into Seller Shield. Just a little plug for that, because I don't fill it out on here anymore. I've never sent the seller's disclosure through DocuSign through command, just because of that Seller Shield form.
How do you get to Seller Shield?
It's a website, so you would just go to sellershield.com, I believe. Yep, so just a little plug for them. This is Seller Shield. So I'd recommend y'all look into this. You can include as well, you can include coverage for them, legal coverage as well. If you want to gift that to them as a closing gift, there's some financial services you can pay for on your end if you like. But just wanted to bring that up to y'all. Just that's something maybe not every office is implementing and working on. So I'll go ahead and pop back over here. So you can see here, nothing auto-populated on here. Of course, we would be going in here and filling everything out. Let's see. Got a chat here. All right. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for letting me know. So looks like Bill is all on board with Seller Shield. Appreciate that. So the seller's disclosure, also the other reason is you can't just click in on here and go through it, because these are all things that are going to need to be assigned to the clients whenever they're filling this out for your listings. So I know I have a few different documents in here that are buyer and seller. I just wanted to go over all of it for you. So let's say we were ready to send all of these things off for signatures. So you see that I hovered over here, and on the top left corner of all these, there's a blue checkbox that comes up. Admit Pam real quick. So when you do that, pardon me, clicked on it. When you hover over these and click on it, you'll see this whole new menu bar pops up right here. This wasn't here before. So when you go through and you select all those and highlight them, we would go over here and we'd go into DocuSign. Okay, so we're gonna say that we're ready to go. So we're putting these. Remember my analogy? We're in the mailroom. We've gotten the documents. We've written everything on them that we need to. And now we're putting them in an envelope and we're going to mail them off for signatures. So we've got all of our forms here. So this envelope name will say initial contract or offer docs. That's what we'll call this one. So if you're ever looking at your your envelopes at one time, you want to be able to see real quick. Oh, okay, that was for 832 Adams Drive. That's the initial offer. That's right. Because I've gotten in a habit of just leaving it as please DocuSign or please initial. And then I go back to look through something and I can't find the thing I was looking for. So anyway, you look through here. You can also view your documents this way. See everything that we've got in here, and we'll break it down by page. So if you just wanted to make sure that you had everything filled out before you move forward, you certainly could right here. Okay. Now we're going to make sure we're going to need to add our recipient, and I always go off of the room participants. So remember in the details section of the rooms where we made sure that the client's info in there and your info as the agent was in there, we're going to go off of room participants. And so we've got Mr. Fake Client as our buyer 1. And then we've also got me as the buyer's agent. We're going to select that role, buyer's agent 1 as well. And for the fun of it, we'll go ahead and put in Daffy Duck and Minnie Mouse, because why not? We can have the sellers on there too, so we can have at least a little more concrete contract when we're looking at it. Now you'll see here there are 2 numbers right here. They're currently say 1 and 1. Whatever number is here is the order and speed that the documents will be sent off to the next person. So for me personally, I always like to put myself as number 1. And then if I've got a buyer and then another buyer as well, let's see if I could add one. Okay, we'll say Daffy Duck was our second buyer, so to speak. If you had 2 buyers on this, I select both buyers as you see that it says 2 and 2 here instead of 1, 2, 3, it's 1, 2, 2. So I always send it to myself as the buyer's agent first, just to make sure, looking over everything, that there's not any issues. And then I'll go ahead and send it off from there to have that sent off to the clients. So I always select 1 for myself and 2, or you could do 2 and 3 if you wanted the husband or wife to sign first, and then vice versa. If you needed it to be in a certain order for some reason, you could certainly do that as well. And then email signature, I'd say 32 Adams Drive, initial. All right, so here's our email message that our clients are going to receive, as well as the subject. And once everything is completed, you'll get these email updates. If y'all haven't played with DocuSign before, you will get email updates as well. When someone views it, when they sign it, and you can change your notification preferences for that as well. And you'll also get an email when the entire document is completed with the PDF version with the signatures. So here you can see all of our documents. We made sure that I'm the first person to receive this, and then we've got Mr. Fake Client, and then Miss Minnie Mouse. We'll say she's buyer 2 now. And we've got our subject and our email message right there. So go ahead and scroll back up to the top. We'll hit next.
Clark,
Yes, ma'am.
with having yourself as number 1 and then the buyers as number 2, does not go to them until after you've signed?
Correct. That is the reasoning, and that is the thought there, is I get to be the last line of defense to make sure my document looks clean, pretty, and everything is accurate. And it's just another check and balance for me. I like to just have multiple systems to make sure that everything's running smoothly. So that's just one way I do it. By no means are you required to. You don't even have to have yourself in there as a signature if you don't want to. It's just, I do it for my own reasons, just to make sure that my documents are correct. Because I have had some hiccups where I forgot a checkbox here, or I forgot to add a signature box there. You know, I just want to make sure that everything looks good and professional before I'm sending it off.
Okay.
So that's just my reasoning for it. Totally personal preference.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, ma'am. So you'll see in here, so we've got our, up here on the top left, and it changes everything color codes. That's one of my favorite parts about DocuSign, is you know exactly, just based on color, that, oh, I'm not on the right client if you've got somebody that needs to be signing somewhere specifically. So we'll go down to the contract, and that's going to be the easiest one to play around with. All right, so we got Daffy and Minnie as the sellers and Fake Client as the buyer. You can add in text boxes here as well. So in case you forgot something earlier when you were filling out the document, you know, if you needed to put in there just a text box for yourself. And you can leave it blank, so you need to type it in when you're signing, or you could type it in right now. It's your call, however you want to do it. So we'll say it was lot 5 and block 4. Okay, so you can add text boxes, you can add check as well. So if for some reason the third-party finance wasn't checked right there earlier, you could just drag one of those over here, pop it right there. Okay. And we'll also go down. So of course we're going to have our initials and signatures, being that it's a contract. So see, so I am actually going to make sure that I'm doing this for the client. So see, I had accidentally dragged that right there for myself. It would have made me sign it, which isn't correct. So Mr. Fake Client here, our buyer, we're going to go ahead and put initial right there. And I like to make them a little smaller just by personal preference, because they tend to get cumbersome whenever you get the completed document and signatures are overlapping with all the words up here. So we've got.
Hey, Clark, can you
Yes, sir.
Can you use those for your templates too? For your templates, add those?
Yes, you can. Yes. So if you had a 1-to-4 contract and you wanted to go ahead and set up your template, which is what we'll do on Thursday, you could have your text boxes, you could have your initials, you could have any of these on the left-hand side pre-filled and put in where they need to be. And on a contract, obviously, it's going to be less information because there's so many variables. There's no guarantee that it would be $600 for this residential contract, or that they, you know, do closing cost assistance. It's always going to vary. But if you've got something very simple and fluid like an IABS, that would be a lot easier for you on a template, because you've already got all the info in and you just need to pop in some initial boxes. So yes, to answer your question, you most certainly can do that. It'll make your life a lot easier.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a question, Clark.
Yes, ma'am.
You're going through and you are assigning places to be initialed. So,
yes, ma'am.
So when you have your clients already in your database as contacts, you bring the document in to their, I'm going to say folder. It doesn't automatically assign this spot for them to initial as it does in
Nope. As it does in what?
As it did in .loop.
No, ma'am, it doesn't. You need to physically drag the boxes, and that's why I'm going to be going. Go ahead.
If you use, instead of doing by room participant, if you do pre-tagged roles, they should already be in the spot by. So like if you're adding buyer, buyer's agent, buyer 2, all of those will already be assigned if, instead of doing by room participant, if you do add by pre-tagged roles, then all those are already in place, I believe.
Okay, let me double check that real quick while we've got everyone on here and we're all on the same page. So we all get better as we learn more together. So if we were going to pop out, go back real quick. Looks like it doesn't want to play nice with me right now. So from pre-tagged roles is what you were saying.
Correct.
And then we could do, say, buyer 1. And we'll go ahead and remove this one. So we'll have Mr. Fake Client as buyer 2, buyer 1. All right, and you can drag from these little 6 or 8 dots right here if you need to move up and down on your ordering right here as well. So we'll go ahead and make that 2. Let's go check that out, because that's a good call. Yep, you're absolutely correct. Great call, Jake. So did y'all see what we did there, the change? So when we were here in the envelope, I'll make sure y'all saw this, just to put an image to what he was saying. So when you went to add recipient, I've always done it off of room participants. So Jake just taught me something new. I've always done it off of room participants. He went off pre-tagged roles and then selected his buyer. Obviously, we've got buyer one already right there, so we can't select them. But if we wanted to go ahead and select myself as buyer agent and then assign it to myself, go ahead and add that. I'll remove my first one. So went off the pre-tagged roles right here, add recipient. Next. So look at that. Better together. Everyone's helping each other.
Saves a lot of time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you. So we'll scroll down here. So see everything that you're going to need. Jake just made your life a lot easier. So these are the two that I had put myself. And then obviously I had dragged that seller myself. So everything else in here though has auto-populated the area. So that made your lives even faster. And then templates will even make it easier for you as well, which is what we'll go over on Thursday. And sorry if y'all hear some banging or loud noises. We've got some construction going on the floor above me here in my office over in South Lake. All right, so let's say everything looked great. You know, we had everything for the buyers pre-filled, anything that I need to. So obviously the option fee, because I'm yellow, my buyer was blue. So anything in there we could possibly need, all finished. So we'll say everything's looking good to go. I always hit recipient preview as well. And you can see up here, you can look at it for what it'll look like for them if they're looking on a desktop or if they're looking on a tablet or on a phone. You can get an idea of what it'll look like just for their end.
Okay, I have another question, Clark.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So on page 10, it was giving you the option to receipt the option fee.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm still comparing DocuSign to .loop.
Uh-huh.
If the clients had already signed and we came and tried to sign, it would flag us about making changes. And so once the buyer or the seller had already signed, the agent could not at that point make a change to the document without wiping out their signatures. Is that the case with DocuSign? Will it allow us to come behind the buyers and sellers?
No, to answer in short, but I do have a workaround for you, okay? So I have had this happen where, you know, say you're working on an offer and you've sent it over and they say, okay, make these few changes. Okay, we'll do that. So we're going to go ahead and back up. So to finish out, you would have hit send up here in the yellow, and that would have sent it off to your clients. But I'm going to kind of go over here for her question. We're going to go back into rooms here real quick. All right, it's gonna be a little slow here on the envelope, so I'm going to go to transaction here and command. It's going to be actually quicker to get where I need to go. So we're back here in the room, you know, the mail room analogy. So say they had already signed everything, okay? You would have new documents here that show that they have signed it, and it'll say, you know, completed. It'll have a green check of some sort here. Let me show you on one of my other opportunities for that deal I worked, just to give you an idea. So for 832 Adams, so see for the room here, for these previous clients that I had, you get that green checkbox right there that showed that it is signed, okay?
Yes.
So that's what you would see. You would see all these documents dash signed in here, just to give you a visual, okay? You'd have all those in there and you could select them. So say, you know, you needed them all PDF, so you've got the signed copies, okay? Your clients have signed everything. Say you wanted all 4 of them to be in one document. So you could go in here and you can combine. Okay, well, it thinks none of them are compatible because they're not signed. But you can go in here and you could download. So you can download the signed copies is what I'm getting at. So say
and then bring them back in?
Yes, ma'am. So what you would do is you would check it. You would download.
Okay.
Download. So that's downloaded right there. Okay.
Mhm.
And then we would go in here, now that all the signatures are going to be on that signed copy, because it's already in there. We would go in here, and instead of adding from DocuSign forms, you add from computer.
Okay,
Go in
so
here.
that's pretty much what I do with Dot Loop.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
So same concept. It's just,
Okay.
so there's our ABAD. And then it should pop up there at the bottom. Yep, right there. You can click on that. You could check it out, make sure everything was signed accordingly. So see,
and then I can make
signatures are
changes
still
to
there.
this. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So you would just then go in, like this is a quote unquote new document.
Yeah.
You would go in, put in all your dates, everything that you need. So
Okay.
that answer your question there for you?
I just didn't know if
Okay.
DocuSign was doing it differently than what we had to do in Dot Loop. Okay.
Gotcha. Yes, ma'am. That's your easy fix and workaround there for you. So do we all feel comfortable and confident about rooms and envelopes and at least getting a document ready to send for signatures? Can I get some verbal yeses or thumbs ups, anything like that? Just make sure that we're all good to go before I walk
Yes.
forward. Okay, sounds great. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and hop on over here now. All right, so we've gone ahead. We're going to act like we've already got our signed documents. Everything is good to go and kosher, and we are ready to go ahead and get back in here into the opportunity. So ignore this 832 Adams one. We're going over here to the test for Mr. Fake Client. So Mr. Fake Client right here. All right, so remember we had our details about the opportunity itself. And we had our documents, which is where we were earlier. There's nothing in consultation, zero documents that's needed. But under contract, remember that's where all of your documents are going to need to go for your MCA department, for Lindsay. So she can make sure that everything's looking good. And I know we have some new people here than we did last time. I just wanted to highlight a few things. So required, I'm not sure if y'all's end looks like this, like I said, because I'm in a different office, but I would assume they all look uniform. You've got your required documents with required labeled under them. And then you get to a point, you've got green sheet 2. If y'all are still using that, I believe y'all are using the offers and commissions though, is the new way of doing that. And then you'll see here conditionally required. So it lets you know, okay, you will need to upload this document for MCA compliance if, and then some of them just say optional as well. But I believe that's all customizable. So anyway, we're going to go in here and we're going to say that we've uploaded all of your documents so you can attach multiple files. And you would want to go from DocuSign. If you went through DocuSign to get everything signed by your clients, you want to go ahead and go through DocuSign. So you would go over here to contract and you would select, okay, you see all of your documents here that we had in that room. We've got the unapproved contract, the seller's disclosure, all these things that we had pulled in earlier in this exercise. So you could just pull very easily, okay, there you go. And it would say signed if it was the signed copy, okay? So all these are just the plain Jane because we didn't actually send off for signatures. So you could go ahead and assign all of these different items. We'll do it by what they are. So the RRS document right here, and let's say general info, even though that's to sellers. So we'll attach those. And then you see here, you've got the name of the document right there, okay? So that's what it looks like. Our MCA department here in Southlake, I would assume it's the same for your office. They requested that you never hit submit until everything is uploaded, because I think it's a more cumbersome process for them than .loop was. And so just to make it easier on them, they all requested that you attach everything and then just upload and submit rather once, instead of submitting every time you upload the contract and then the agent copy in a few days and then the seller's disclosure a day after that. So anyway, we're going to act like we've gotten everything filled out. Everything's good to go. Just so y'all can see real quick, I'll go to a different opportunity so you can see what it looks like when the MCA department has approved your documents. So you'll see here. So we've got approved. We've got big green approved next to all of these different items right here. So they are all good to go. See all of that. And then also this little red note box right here. That is if there was anything in here. So these were, some contract or some things rather that we had exchanges with our MCA department, because this was a Zillow owned home by the Rhodes group or Rhodes team. And so there were some different documents on the specific one that we had to have uploaded. So there needed to be some back and forth conversation here about, you know, the different seller's disclosure notice. So just so y'all are aware, we have that little note box right there to discuss with your MCA department. So now we'll go over here into offers. This is the green sheet replacement through command, so to speak. Let's see, do we have a chat? You're very welcome, Kyle. Saw that right there. All right, so we're gonna go in here, we're gonna add a new offer, okay? So I'm actually gonna go back to fake client, just so that we can stay uniform here. And an offer is actually an offer. If it's a listing, it's offers you've received. If you're a buyer, it's the offer that you're writing, okay? So we'll call this the initial offer for 832 Adams Drive, okay? So in here you can see, we'll say that the offer date was today and the closing date is a month from now on the 24th, okay? The property address is 832 Adams. All right, so we've got that so far. And this is just the offer. This is nothing set in stone, okay? Just wanna be clear on that. So we'll say the seller's name is still Minnie Mouse on this one. We got Mr. Fake Client, and they were pre-approved through Keller Mortgage. Go them, great job. And then we don't know who the buyer's agent is, or let's say John Smith, just for fun. All right, so now we'll go to the terms. And here you can see, so we've got our little timeline here. We were just in parties and started with offer details. So we'll say this is a $200,000 house and they're putting in 20%, okay? Perfect. And we know that our earnest money is going to be 1%, so that automatically calculates for you. And we did a $100 option fee with a 7-day option period. And we're just going to assume that the seller is going to contribute to that, and we'll deal with seller contributions on settlement costs whenever it comes down to repairs and all that. So we're going to go ahead and hit agent analysis right here. Now, I was talking with a tech director at a different office, and they said, as of now, this is not something you need to do. It doesn't require you to. I don't know enough about this to give you any information on it right now. I'm not sure if it's just if the other agent was good or bad to work with. I'm not sure, or maybe it's looking here like pros about the offer rather.
Pros and cons about the offer, because you can load in multiple offers to send over like an analysis if you're in a multiple offer situation.
Gotcha.
On like the selling side. And yeah, there isn't really a point in doing it because when you do that, you'll see like there's an Excel sheet you can or like a PDF that you can download and send your client.
Okay.
The only reason to do it now is just really to help build out Kelly's AI.
Gotcha. Okay, so still helpful nonetheless. Thank you, Jake. You know, good to be doing it for Kelly, if not for anything else. So we'll say that we're all good on this, and we'll go ahead and hit save. So now this is your offer, and we can add as many as we want. Like he was just saying, if this is a listing and we had received 6 offers, we'd have 6 of these in theory, just to, like he said, build out Kelly's AI. So you can see the breakdown here. So we've got your offer, how much cash, the finance amount, earnest, option, all of this stuff right here. Now you need to go ahead, say we were going to accept this, okay? And this is the offer that's moving forward, okay? So now you've gone ahead and accepted that offer, okay? And then you could add analysis, or you could send it if you wanted to as well. And let me see. So you could go in here, and this would be an emailed offer to your client. So again, on the selling side, so here's the subject. You could send yourself a copy, just like when you set up the MLS searches, anything like that. So you could email these offers over as well, okay? But you'll notice now that so let me show you real quick. Commissions is grayed out. I cannot click on it right now, okay? Until I hit accept on the offer. Now commissions is opened up. So this is your new green sheet, okay? The commissions tab.
Hey, Clark.
Click on that. Yes, sir.
What if you wanted to send off a counter offer?
You could certainly do that, and you can go in here and you can click, you can hit change response. So you're not ready to work with it yet. And then you could click this and edit offer. So if you did have a change in there, you could just click edit offer. I wouldn't necessarily write a new offer every single time if it's for the same property. If it's all for the same property, I would just hop in here and change it if I were you. Just personal preference. But yes, you can make any changes necessary. You know, if they were changing the terms, if they were putting now 30 down and financing 170 or whatever it is, you know, say they wanted to do a $200 option fee or a 5-day, you know, you're going back and forth. You could certainly do it that way.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to hit back on this one. So again, you accept it, and then the commissions tab pops up right here. Okay. So once you click on that, this really is a very clean breakdown of what the green sheet was, rather than being just text. Okay. Now we don't have the contract date in there, so we'll say that we went under contract today. Okay. So you'll see over here on the right side, you've got all of your breakdown of your summary. So it already factors in your royalty, your company dollar, the payout to agents, the payout to the office, all of that stuff right here. If you had a co-broker payment for some reason, you could do that. So it breaks down your total commission and gives you these nice little graphics right here.
Clark, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I recently did one of these, but
Okay.
paying for my buyer's home warranty.
Okay.
And so it would not allow me to put it here so that when the MCA sends it over to the title company, then it's already indicated. So how would we do that?
I believe, and there's an asterisk on that, I believe you would click add item.
I did that.
Okay.
It gave me an error message.
Okay. So this would be a deduction for you. Okay. And so let's say you were paying for the home warranty and it was $600. Okay. And we're just adding in whoever the payee needs to be. And this is for 832 Adams. With you getting an error message, it might have just been an off day. We'll just say that this is their phone number. Okay.
I think I did it as a concession. Maybe
okay. That's probably what it is. So yeah, so a deduction is going to be removing from your, you know, from your total over here. So watch, we'll go ahead and add that note right here. So we added that item. You see that it actually added another deduction of $600 right here.
Okay.
Okay. So, and you can add on as many of those that you have on our team whenever we're doing green sheets and when we're going over here into commissions, when we switch over to that. We've got a transaction coordinator / director of operations. And so we'll always add her in because that's how we pay her, is on, you know, the green sheet or this. So we would add her in as a deduction every single time. So if you've got a team and you're paying someone regularly, that's just something you would do every time, is you would have that deduction right there. So it would, you know, say it was $2,000 and contract to close.
Hey, Clark.
Yes, sir.
In the event of paying somebody a referral fee or split commission, is that how you go about it?
Yes, sir. Same place. So we're going to go to add item and choose type. When you scroll down, you also have referral options as well. Now, to be clear, I'm going to add this person real quick. There you go, Mary. All right. So when I come in here, inside referrals, I want to be very clear on this. Inside referrals is only inside your market center. Only inside your market center. So if you're working with a KW Southlake, KW Arlington, KW whatever, that's not your office, it is an outside referral. Okay. But if you got a referral from someone in your office that just couldn't work a deal or didn't want to drive out to wherever, that's how you would do that. So yes, your referrals are also in here as well.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir. And then if you donate to KW Cares, I always donate to KW Kids Can, being a QL instructor. If you wanted to go into the Bold Scholarship, you could do that. And then you can also see here in the deductions as well, it says minus 600. That's our home warranty that we put. So if we had a discussion and they said, actually, you know what, it's okay, we're happy to pay for it, you can just hit that trash can. And now we're back to $0. So that it went away here as well. So just want to make y'all aware of that. And then adding a note here, you could add a note, you know, if you had planned to pay, you know, maybe if you had an idea for the closing gift that you're going to give them, you could make a note in here of, you know, gift basket. can make a note like that in there just so that you have a nice clean deal in here. Now, I'm not going to hit submit because this would go to my MCA department and they would be upset with me for sending a fake loop or not loop, but opportunity. So anyway, that's how you would get there, and you can edit and delete just like we did a minute ago. So that is the new green sheet. I know that that is probably new to a lot of y'all. How do y'all feel about that? Does that make sense? Was that easy enough to understand going through the process? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions? I know it's obviously been all me talking so far, and I know we're about an hour in. We're about to wrap up here and finish up. Do we have any questions? Feel free to unmute yourselves. Fire away if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer anything I can for y'all.
Clark, you're doing a great job. Thank you. This is Christine. I'm Director of Agent Services.
Hi, Christine.
So I've had the pleasure of training this in our command camps on a couple of weekends. Okay. Jake, thank you too for helping out and chiming in today. And
yes,
this was
definitely.
I just appreciate your teaching style.
Good. Well, I appreciate that. I started out in college. I would host study groups just because I felt like it was easier to learn together. And it's proven to be a successful thing for me. So happy to do this type of stuff with y'all, and I'm excited to be bringing 7 more classes for y'all. We'll be releasing the list of what the rest of the classes are going to be. It'll all be Tuesday, Thursdays, probably at 10 a.m. For this week and the next 3 weeks up until I think April 16th is the last one we've got scheduled out for right now.
Thank you. We're excited to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be helping y'all out.
Any
questions before we finish out today? Let's see. I'm getting a chat here. Let's see. Yes, sir. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate you. All right, y'all. Well, we'll go ahead and end it for today. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen. But anyway, it was great to meet y'all today and talking with you. I look forward to talking with you more in the coming days and weeks. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to let me know. My cell number is 817-939-9855. If y'all need to text me anything, if you call me and I don't pick up, please leave a voicemail. Just get tons of calls, so just want to make sure I'm getting to the right people. But if y'all have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to help y'all in any way that I can. Yes, I agree, Kyle. More hands-on is definitely the way that we all get better. And also, if y'all are looking for any help with YouTube videos or anything that I kind of base my material off of, go on YouTube and YouTube either Marty Miller out of Houston or Jay Cermak, C-E-R-M-A-K. He's out of Florida. They're both awesome, agents here in the company, and they're releasing YouTube videos on all this type of stuff as well. So if you want some at-home practice and kind of see where I get my info from, it's not all just me. It's building off of the success of others, making it my own. So anyway, just wanted to give you all that as well. So anyway, I will see y'all on Thursday at 10 a.m.
Hey, Clark, I want to let people know how to mute so that we don't hear them doing dishes.
Oh yeah, make sure y'all mute as well if you don't mind. Let's see, we can't tell where it's coming from, but anyway, y'all have a great one, and we'll see you next time. Okay, we'll see you on Thursday, and we're going to be going over creating templates in DocuSign, so it'll make your lives a whole lot easier when you're doing the process that we worked on today. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, sure thing. We'll see y'all on Thursday.
Thank you.